Welcome to The Real Reveal, a series where our team shares how we are building a company rooted in passion, integrity, and excellence. From transformation strategy to geospatial analysis and advanced analytics, these are the tools, stories, and people behind the solutions Reveal delivers every day. In this episode, Vice President of Applied Statistics and Data Science, Taylor Wilson, speaks on how Reveal is advancing statistical modernization by tackling the hardest problems in the statistical system. By bringing technology from synthetic data to artificial intelligence to bear on federal problems and sourcing high-quality alternative data, Reveal is helping agencies modernize securely, efficiently, and with future-ready precision.
Taylor, good morning. It's a pleasure to talk with you. You've worked in the federal statistical system space for over a decade now. I know you love public data. What drives that passion?
Public data, to me, is about recognizing that data are a public good and understanding that the data that's collected, produced, disseminated by the federal statistical system goes into so much more than just the official statistics that we see every day. All of those artifacts produced by the system are used by people, by businesses, by decision makers, policymakers, academia. The list is endless to make better decisions about how to invest, where to live, how to spend their money, how to live. And for me, being part of the production of that information is very, very validating for me. And that's why I love it so much and why I'm happy to be here and talking to you today.
Great. So how are you and your team at Reveal helping organizations innovate?
Yeah, so innovation, especially in the response rate problem, it's challenging because I think leveraging alternative data sources and administrative data sources might be one of the only ways that we're able to fill those gaps in the surveys. And the way administrative data is often collected or produced, sometimes it's incompatible with the way that the surveys ask their questions, because surveys are really controlled ways of collecting data. You can ask the question you really, really want to ask and get the answers that you really need in order to get these statistics. When you bring in alternative data sources, you have to see whether or not that data is compatible, answers the same questions in the same way, in the same units, right, across the same time period, right? There's all these challenging things that you have to think about. So building in the frameworks for evaluating new data like that is part of the innovation that we bring to the federal agencies, because all data could be useful. It all could be useful, but it's not all guaranteed to be useful. Just because you can find a data source that purports to measure the same thing doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be able to give you the right answer to the question.
So if I follow, you're talking about moving from a survey-centric approach or survey-centric world to a data-centric approach. And tell us a little bit more about that. Again, what you and your team are doing to help statistical organizations move in that direction.
Yeah, so a survey-centric approach is the notion that surveys are the primary way through which we get all of this information. A data-centric approach focuses on the output or the data product that you're trying to produce and the question that you're trying to answer. And what's the best way to answer that question? And when you shift the question from how can this survey get me the answer to how can this data product best be produced, you get to start thinking about how administrative data sources or alternative data sources might come in to play in that situation.
Yeah, great. I know your team works on synthetic data, and I know you and I have talked about your passion for synthetic data. What role does that play in this whole process of innovating?
We make information or data sets that are faithful reproductions of what you might observe in the real data so that you can build systems around that data, systems that support data that looks like the real thing, so that when it is applied to the real thing, it flows nicely, it works nicely. And I like to think about it a little bit like data being water and the systems being the pipes, right, in your house. And when you have a good system, or maybe when you install a new system and you're not sure where the holes in that system are, and you pour the water into the pipes and they start to leak everywhere, if you use data, real data for that, each one of those leaks is a problem, right?
Yeah.
It creates issues, and because that leak could be you. It could be your data that's leaking out of that system. And you don't want to be that person for sure. And the agency doesn't want to put anybody at risk because of the privacy protections that are so central to the way that these organizations operate. So with synthetic data, you can pour the water into the pipes. And if they leak out, it doesn't matter. But we find the holes because then we can plug them, we can engineer the systems better. And then when we're sure everything works the way it's supposed to, the real data can flow through and we can get those efficiency gains that the technology promises us. Yeah.
Fantastic. So I'm going to shift gears here a little bit. So years from now, as you look back on the work that you've done, what's going to give you the greatest contentment? What's going to make you smile?
Part of the reason that I work here at Reveal is because I feel like I'm able to see the problems from a wider lens from where I was before and tackle them, right? And make those changes that I experienced myself as being so difficult to surmount. And helping them make those changes is satisfying to me. And if I'm able to do that, if I am able to work with some of these federal agencies and some of these statistical organizations to help them make better data so that the public has access to better information, that's going to be satisfying to me. And what I'm hoping to do really is to build what I'm going to call like a DNA for change, right? This notion,
Great way to put it.
This notion that new technology can come, and being ready and able to adapt to it and being able to be more flexible and take it into your processes, into your systems, and to use it effectively, that's what I'm hoping to achieve. And if we can build that DNA for change where people are willing to adapt and willing to take some of those risks, because they are risks to use new technology, to find those better heights, to be able to make that data more impactful, more efficiently, and get it out the door, that to me, I think is going to make me smile if I can do it. And it's not yet proven that it will, but I'm going to try.
But that's a great way to think about it, DNA for change, because then it becomes part of us.
Yeah.
Change isn't something that's outside, external, and pushed on us. It becomes part of our way of daily thinking.
That's right. And I think you might hear from somebody a little bit later that's going to talk about some, how do you do change? And hopefully she has something nice to say. Yeah.
Great. Thanks. This has been a pleasure talking with you.
Yeah, really, really nice to talk to you. Thanks.
Fantastic. Thank you.